ready for some breakfast before we start working, and watching Pokemon, of course. That is needed. Yeah, we've been living in Japan for a little bit over 4 months.
Yeah, around that.
Yeah, somewhere around that. And we decided to talk about what really is the differences between being vegan here in Japan and being vegan in Norway. Well, first of all, we started this to challenge sort of living vegan in the country that is said to be the most difficult. I'm not so sure that it is the most difficult anymore, at least.
No, I don't know, but there's a lot of countries we never hear about.
Yeah, exactly.
So
yeah, what would you say is one of the big differences between Norway and Japan when it comes to veganism?
definitely how corporation versus private individuals. I would say that is the biggest difference.
Yeah. So basically, in Japan, if you want vegan options, it is more like the private-owned restaurants and such that has done a few things like adding vegan options. Japan is one of the very few countries where you can find a vegan restaurant in the middle of nowhere, for example. It is very uncommon to do that, but there are vegan restaurants spread all over the place. But that doesn't mean that being vegan is much easier in Japan, is it?
No, definitely not. Like when you're traveling, you can it's more likely you will find a vegan restaurant or a vegetarian restaurant in compared to Norway. But I would say it's more safer to travel around in Norway because you know you will always find something. You will always find something in the store, or you will come to a restaurant that doesn't need to have something vegan on their menu, but they can always make something vegan. That's not something that you can just expect in Japan.
Yeah, so almost the only time that I use Happy Cow in Norway is when I go to Oslo to see is there any other vegan restaurant that I haven't been to. Here in Japan, I use it everywhere to just see is there anywhere where there is definitely vegan options.
Yeah.
Because that is the thing. If you in Norway go to a restaurant, more often than not, they can at least make you something, and more restaurants are having vegan options. Here in Japan, it's like if you go into restaurants, then they're not going to make you something vegan. Very rarely they will even be capable of doing that. Many just keep to the options that they have at the restaurant, and they don't go out of the way to make something off the menu. Well, some places will do, but compared to Norway, almost every place will actually make an attempt at least.
Yeah, definitely. The chances are bigger to find a vegan restaurant here in Japan.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
many towns in Norway doesn't even have a vegetarian restaurant.
Yeah, like Wakayama, they say it's a small city, but for us it's huge. But they got 2 vegan restaurants, 1 vegetarian.
Soon 3.
Soon 3. We don't know if that one will be vegetarian or vegan yet, but...
Yeah, true.
Yeah, true. So it's basically the Shojin Cafe Foy. They told us that there is it out yet, do you think?
I think it's out now.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just need to find that last Shojin Cafe Foy.
Yeah.
They were to start a new one. Starting this chain. Very interesting. So that part is very different. It's definitely much easier in Norway. Without a shadow of a doubt. Grocery shopping, however, is a little different.
Oof, yeah, that's the worst part.
Let's start with Whole Foods.
Well, it's a bigger section in Japan, definitely.
Yeah.
Like in Norway, we kind of just have the same fruits and same vegetables. We got our
vegetables, yeah.
Root vegetables like carrots, potatoes, onions, but we only have like 3 types of onions and 3 types of mushrooms, for example.
You will rarely find more than just one type of mushroom in Norway for some reason.
You can find normal is 2 types and maybe 3 types, especially around Christmas they take
Yeah,
in
yeah,
some
true,
other.
true.
But normally only 2 types of mushrooms.
Yeah.
Here there are so many.
Yeah, there's so many mushrooms.
Yeah.
Oh.
And so many salads, so many of every kind of vegetables and fruits and whatever.
Yeah, it's like in Norway, if I go like on the top of my head, we can get broccoli, cauliflower, let me see, aubergines, squash.
But you can get like you can get other things as well, but you get it in very small packages and they cost a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think people actually buy them like normally because expensive.
Yeah, but here, the amount of different root vegetables in the store
Yeah.
beats Norway.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
And in Norway you got them raw
Yeah.
or you got them freezed. But here you got them in so many processed states, you can say, like.
You got them fermented, you got them distilled, you can find them dried, you can there's just so many different types that you can get them in.
Yeah.
And like even they got way more salads here even. Just I remember in the beginning we couldn't find cauliflower here.
No, that's some of the more rare.
Yeah.
And the orange sweet potato also more rare. But we got like 3 other colored sweet potatoes here.
Yeah.
So.
Well, mostly the lighter ones.
Yeah, mostly.
Yeah, I remember we went to a restaurant and they had the orange. So basically, getting whole foods in Japan, it tops Norway without a shadow of a doubt. There are many things like herbs and different like special type of grown things that you will find in a regular grocery shop here, where you have to go to like a special Asian store to get in Norway.
Yeah. But Norway is very, like, we love the things we can produce in our own country.
Yeah.
And we haven't, like, you can say a lot of things. There's a controversies around if it's possible to grow more vegetables in Norway because many have tried and failed, but the climate is becoming warmer, so of course you can make like grapes in Norway now. You can make wine in Norway. But people have the old mindset that we still can't grow like different types of vegetables in our countries, so it's very like boring.
Yeah. Sort of like boring. If you go to other products like canned food, there are definitely more brands of them here, but of things that we are used to, it seems like we have a harder time finding them.
It definitely do. Like, I think Norway, we have less brands, but we got everything we need or everything we are used to use.
Yeah.
So like chili beans, we haven't found that many chili beans, for example, and they only sell it at some stores, but we definitely have found them.
Yeah, like the last drop of it, like we recently found tomato beans.
Yeah.
Which we've really been searching for.
Yeah, we are big consumers of tomato beans.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, that's usually the one. I think it's called Gyomu. This that we call the local store, although Evergreen is actually closer.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter, no. So.
But they got everything.
Oh yeah, they got so many things. It's the one place we find dates.
Yeah, and different types of cereal.
Yeah, true. They got different types of dates. One of the stores up at the Eon shop, they also have, but they only have one brand of dates.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
But they have 2 types. The local.
No, they got more.
More. Oh.
Yeah, they
got literally everything. They got also like spaghetti like sauce that is actually marked vegan.
Yeah.
And it's a big can, like it's a dinner.
Yeah.
So I think it's the first like really easy dinner we have found that is close by.
Yeah.
That we can buy noodles, but then we have to bicycle half an hour to get it. So.
Well, the definitely processed foods are a little bit more difficult in Japan.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, so there's like lots of like pre-made sauces. In Norway, a lot of them will be vegan by accident, but here you really need to search for them.
Yeah, but yeah, true.
And also, like many things that we're used to being vegan in Norway, of cereals, for example, are not vegan here.
Yeah. And the bread thing, that's a classic. We talk about it all the time.
Okay, bread is like the biggest thing, the
Yeah.
most difficult thing ever. Majority of the bread contains butter, and it might contain shortening, which to us as a Norwegian got two names, where it's specified if it's plant or if it's from animal base. So we got different names for them.
Yeah, and they're always like described as plant-based or animal-based.
Come again?
Animal-based.
Animal based?
New word.
They got two different names.
No, not necessarily. Not necessarily.
You mean when they write that this is like fat from animal, or like this is vegetable oil, or
For example.
for example,
For example.
yeah, something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah, but here it's a little bit more complicated.
Yeah.
Yeah, because labeling is a huge problem here in Japan. In the absolute rest of the world, if it say may contain, then you know it's just produced in the same factory. People who are like highly allergic should avoid it because it's made in the same facility. Here in Japan, however, it means almost anything to do with small amount. So if there are a minuscule amount in it, you can write it. If it's intentional or unintentional, they still write it down. So if they are just like, yeah, just take this little bit of powder of milk powder in this 10 liters, they might actually do that, which is insane. And it has been like a huge labeling problem in Japan. But labeling laws are changing, but it's changing really slow.
Yeah, but it's the whole corona thing, isn't it?
Might be.
Might be. That's why it's going slow.
Oh, they will blame the corona on everything in this
The
country.
whole world do. The whole world do.
Yeah, so if you buy any type of foods in Norway that say may contain, it means the same thing as the rest of the world, but not in Japan. So annoyingly enough, there is a brand of bread that we used to buy, and you've seen it in this video production that we've been eating this bread, sliced bread. We bought it at Wakayamachi station. Now it says secondary ingredients dairy, which means they may or may not have added it to the ingredients.
Yeah.
Either that, or they may or may not have put it or produced some other type of bread with that in it. And to us to figure out, we need to contact the company, which is a hazard in and of itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now we get bread, but in a more like what can I say, inconvenient way.
Yeah, we have to go to Osaka now to get like the whole bread. Like we can like some.
Yeah, we can have some buns.
Some buns. Yeah.
Sometimes we got baguettes.
Sometimes, yeah, but they stopped selling the one that we have shown up.
Yeah, and the ciabatta is still on the market. Also the rice bread. The rice bread is just it falls apart.
Yeah, maybe if we eat it faster, because sometimes we wait a day or two before we eat it.
Yeah, maybe, but I know that there is better rice bread out there.
Yeah,
We've bought better rice bread.
It's not the best quality, no.
But here comes like the big thing, and that is to do with substitutes, like vegan versions of things. For sure there are meat substitutes in Japan. Majority of them contains eggs.
Yeah.
There are a few brands at the regular grocery stores. There's also this other store, this one that focus on those who are against capitalism and sustainability and such.
Yeah, you can say it's kind of like IKEA. It reminds me of them. Very minimalistic Scandinavian style, trying to focus on what's absolutely necessary.
Yeah, but it's not furniture.
It's everything, basically, from kitchen to bathroom to like your office.
Yeah, but they got some food items there.
Yeah.
Even meat substitutes, for some reason, they have meat, although they focus on sustainability.
Yeah, I never understand that. I will
No.
never understand that. So.
But I haven't seen a store like it in Norway.
No, not like that.
No.
Because it basically got everything.
Yeah.
So
it's really weird one.
but it's a nice one. I like it.
Yeah.
It got style.
Yeah. So if you want to get a meat substitute in Norway, there's a lot of them. There's still some that contains eggs and such, but the majority is vegan now. Here it is like it used to be for like 10 years ago or something like that. No, not that much.
Not that.
6 years, I guess.
6 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. 5, 6
Yeah,
years.
just you have like the 2 brands that are vegan and the rest contains eggs.
Yeah.
Sorry. And almost all of it is in chunks. I've seen some nuggets and such, but they are not vegan. But they're mostly like chunks of meat. Meat. While in Norway we can get sausages, burgers, and
We can basically get everything now vegan.
almost.
Like the main products are vegan now, and then there's like the few brands that are just vegetarian.
Yeah, well, of course, like seafood replacements are scarce, but they still exist.
Yeah.
We have found vegan tuna here in Japan.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
actually found that.
Yeah, but like seafood is basically the thing that has taken the longest amount of time.
Which is so weird because when it comes to taste, it's the easiest thing to make.
Yeah.
Just use some seaweed and you
Yeah.
got the fish taste.
We've had vegan caviar for a long time though in Norway.
Yeah. Really.
Yeah, so that is something. Vegan sushi I've tried. Not just avocado sushi, but I actually like replacements.
Yeah.
So
You get that in Oslo.
Yeah, you get that. Yeah, I had it in Tokyo as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So that is definitely a thing. But not only like the really big meat substitutes. If you talk about soy milk, would you say it's easier or harder here? I think it's about equal.
No, actually, I would say it's easier in Norway because here you are not guaranteed that the soy milk is actually vegan.
Oh yeah, that's true.
But in Norway, if it doesn't say milk, you know there's no milk in it.
Yeah.
And every store in Norway have vegan milk.
Yeah. So there are some like dairy replacement products that actually got milk powder in it, for example.
Yeah, like in Nagahama, we only found 1 vegan milk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was a really bad one. In the sense of like tofu, there's definitely way more tofu here. In
Definitely. Oh, yeah.
Different brands.
Yeah.
I'm really going to miss those like tiny fried tofu
Oh yeah,
plates.
just
But yeah.
sections with fried tofu
Yeah.
and with raw tofu and yeah.
Yeah, but again, you also need to check the ingredients list on the tofu as well.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing.
And like you can like you see those stores where this is a tofu dish, but there will be small chunks of pork in it.
Yeah, like in Norway, when you see it behind, like everything that's in the product, often the meat, but not always, but like milk and egg and other like things people are allergic to. Allergic to. They will stand in like bigger.
Yeah, highlighted.
Highlighted.
Yeah.
So in Norway, you can just check. Oh, no highlighted ingredients. This one is safe.
No highlighted. Honey, no honey. Okay, that's how it goes.
Okay. So, but it takes basically 5 seconds.
It's just so annoying here. It's just nothing is written on sometimes, because if there's something that isn't an allergen, they don't have to put it on a label, and that is like wow. Sometimes you just cannot know if something is vegan. That is not the problem in Norway, however.
No. And we also have more vegan brands like
Yeah.
Go Vegan or Go Vegan,
Yeah,
Gryr.
from the dairy producers themselves.
From the
yeah.
dairy producers, but they at least we know they are vegan.
Yeah.
And since they are from the bigger producers, you actually find them
Yeah.
in the everyday grocery store.
Yeah, we have found vegan burgers here though, but they contained apple paste, which I'm allergic to.
Yeah, that's so typical.
Yeah, that's so typical. That's usually the thing. Like first, like, is it vegan? Yes, but it contains apple.
Yeah.
That's happened to me so many times there.
Yeah. So having a vegan barbecue in Japan it's like having a vegan barbecue in Europe 10 years ago. Because you have to make everything from scratch.
It's far behind, not on the dairy replacement part, but when it comes to meat replacements.
Yeah, and like candy and stuff. Because like we do have the dark chocolates, like the classic 70% up. But like the milk chocolate, we haven't found any vegan milk chocolates and stuff like that, or ice cream.
The soy joy, well, no, the soy joy is with light chocolate, but that's like
it's white chocolate, but
yeah,
I guess it's okay. Yeah, but that's the only thing we have found for chocolate, and we have found like 4 ice cream types.
Yeah. 4 different
flavors. I mean, 4 flavors
in the grocery shop. That is.
Yeah. But in Norway, depending on which grocery shop you are, but like some places that have just got so many, like it's an ice cream heaven almost.
Yeah, so like sometimes you can go to the same store in Norway. One day they have almost nothing, another day it's just so full.
Yeah, but of course they do, because they sell out and have to like get more supplies
and sometimes they just jump over supply one month and so on.
Yeah, because you have some stores you have to ask for them to take it in. So but ice cream is in general easier to get in Norway than in Japan.
Yeah, that's true. Also, the amount that you get here is just so small.
Yeah, candy overall actually, like not only chocolate but like chips is easier, because chips is basically vegan in Norway, and then the special chips have maybe milk in it. It used to have meat, but no, not anymore. But here they got so many weird things in the chips, like chicken sometimes, or always milk. So
when I came to Japan last time, the big problem with the crisps was basically that they added shrimp in everything. That isn't the case anymore. But
no, like the Marie.
The biscuits.
Yeah, the Marie biscuit. Here it's like milk with some flowers in it. It's so many dairy products in the Marie biscuits. Isn't Marie biscuit basically just water and flour?
Yeah, and sugar.
And sugar, like that's the concept. That's the thing with it. But here there's so much milk in it.
So so that is basically a part that is definitely more difficult than Japan.
Oh yeah, definitely. And you aren't guaranteed to find like vegan processed food when you go to any store.
No.
You have to go to the big supermarkets.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah.
It took like ages to find any vegan ice cream.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, you were starting to get miserable. So other than that, I think we've gone over all this parts about the grocery store, I think.
Yeah.
Fast food is definitely not an easy thing in groceries. Fast food chains, however, is a little different. You got Starbucks, Coco Ichibana and Moss Burger. They have vegan options, but majority of the big chains hasn't focused on it. However, it seems like Tokyo is working on it.
Yeah.
They said that they want to draw in more tourists. Things has actually gotten easier while we've been here. So basically Japan has been lagging behind, and it's because of a media blackout, where television in Japan is really strict. You can't say what you want, you have a script when you're on a talk show, for example. So because of this media blackout, they're like, oh, we don't want veganism to spread, and then it came back biting them in the buttocks, because now tourists are coming in and asking for vegan options, and there's hardly any. So that is basically the thing that we've also felt.
Yeah.
Especially in Matsuyama.
Yeah, they're like specific said that we don't have anything for vegans.
Yeah, not anymore because of COVID.
Yeah.
But how is the attitude in Norway compared to Japan?
Oh, like the attitude is so much better here.
Yeah, that's
no
true.
doubt. No doubt.
Yeah, so if you tell someone that you're vegan in Norway, then a whole debate breaks loose.
Don't even start on that one. Like saying you're vegan is it's like triggering or something to people. So some are just curious, but then many feel I do think they feel they have to defend themselves for some reason. Like they feel personally attacked just by you stating you're vegan.
Yeah, that's true. Here it's like, oh, okay, and they totally get it at once.
Yeah.
But that's because Japan has had more of a history with plant-based eating. Like they're accustomed to it. People here know that it isn't dangerous, for example.
Yeah.
But the word vegan, when I went to Japan here for like 6 years ago, or something like that.
Yeah, around that I think.
Yeah. Then came here and nobody knew what vegan meant. Now, only like a few years later, 1 in 3 people at least know the word.
Yeah.
So change has come here really fast. But in general, if you tell someone here that you're vegan, you made a point earlier about this. What was it again? Something that people don't ask you here in Japan.
Yeah, when you say you're vegan here, people don't ask why or ask question like, for example, what do you eat? Even today, if you say you're vegan in Norway, people will ask you, but what do you eat? Like, isn't it obvious? We eat the same thing you do.
Yeah.
We've come to that point.
I have had Japanese people ask before. That was when I went to London last. Then I actually got questioned from Japanese people, but I was really easy to answer. I just I mentioned shoji niyori, and I just mentioned the traditional cuisine in Okinawa, and they got it right away.
Yeah.
But like in Norway, they really want to pin you down and like tell you how unhealthy you are, that you shouldn't be doing it, and so forth. You don't get that in Japan.
No.
No, that is. Many would think it's more difficult.
But we are used, like in Norway, we are used to eat meat in basically everything, like vegetable soup. There's still meat in it.
Yeah.
Pancakes, you got bacon on it. You got the
A ham on the porridge.
Yeah. Like, and you got eggs in tomato soup.
Yeah. So Norway is really high on this, and this is something to bring forward. Some people told me that, like, oh, but spreading veganism in Japan is so difficult because of the culture. I've heard from Japanese people, and it's like, I come from Norway. It's just, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
And like, meat is a part of the culture everywhere. You remember when I had Jose on my videos, and he talked about the Dominican Republic. He said the same thing. Oh, you don't know my culture. Like, do you see the culture here? It isn't that different anywhere, except maybe like if you go to like Central Asia.
Yeah, maybe.
Then it might be a little different, but not here. It's just so bizarre to me. Like, no matter where you go, people say, "Oh, but the culture here makes it too difficult." Like, it's controversial everywhere. Just keep that in mind. It's controversial everywhere. But I feel like being vegan in Japan way back when is almost the same thing as it was in Colombia. No restaurants had options almost, and almost nobody had heard about it. So I feel like it used to be like that. So is Japan the hardest country to be vegan in? I would say it might have been, but not anymore.
I don't know what to compare it to, but I definitely think it's okay to be vegan here. It's you have to plan sometimes, of course, and something is easier than compared to Norway. Something is harder compared to Norway. So I don't know.
Yeah. Western Asia is something that people would think is more difficult, but I think they have decent labeling and such. Yeah. So I think that is a big thing. People talk about Kyrgyzstan and how difficult it is there. Many people talk about Mongolia. Well, unless you're in Ulaanbaatar, it might be more challenging finding things.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
I have also heard it's hard to be vegan. My grandfather was in Mongolia, and I actually think he said that it would be hard to be vegan in Mongolia, but in Nepal it would be easy, he said.
Yeah. They also have like a long history of plant-based eating, and they still live in that culture. They decided to keep that culture.
Yeah, but it is cheaper for them because meat is very expensive in Nepal. Have I heard?
Yeah. So that is a big thing. When it comes to activism in Japan, however, it's a little different. Well, there are vegan activists, but the focus is a little different. So you've told me that there are groups in Tokyo.
Yes, like vegan meetups every month or so.
Yeah.
I just follow them on social media, so.
Yeah. Well, you have meetups in Norway as well. We've been on some in Løten actually.
Both in Løten and once or twice in Oslo.
Yeah, true. We also had one at our home in Moelv.
Yeah, and also one in Bø.
Yeah, in Bø. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so we have meetups there. Activism is done in Japan. It's also a little different. So in Norway, you will have a lot of Cube of Truth. I think Cube of Truth has been done in Tokyo. I'm not sure, but in Japan, it's more like people standing there with posters and a megaphone, yelling, and then they're done, so to speak. The same thing that the politicians does that here. They drive around in a van with a huge loudspeaker on the roof. It is so annoying. We try to sleep at night, and all of a sudden it comes out this like Minasama koreba. They're like, oh my gosh, that was so annoying.
Before the election, it was now during the spring.
Yeah.
So we heard it all.
Yeah, but sometimes some activists drive around and do the same thing, but that isn't constant. I can deal with that, but I can't imagine some Japanese activists go and chain themselves up in front of a slaughterhouse. No, I can't see that happening. It should, and it probably will happen in the future, but that's not really what the Japanese people would do because the culture is so different. I've seen in South Korea people doing that.
Oh.
Yeah, but that was like one time or so. So yeah, but I don't know what the Japanese police would do if somebody chained themselves up in front of this slaughterhouse.
No, I don't know.
Would you just please lock yourself out? Like maybe that's what it would do. Oh, it's just so different.
Yeah.
So.
But in Norway, we mainly, like at least before the pandemic, we mainly got like this activism chaining up like this when we gathered outside slaughterhouses with roses and posters.
Yeah.
I think that's more normal than the just meetups, I think.
Yeah, so there were definitely more activism than meetups.
Yeah.
But in Oslo, there's something that I noticed is that more like healthy plant-based people who would do like these influencer vlogs or something, like those type of people were usually the people that we met.
In Oslo?
Yeah.
Wait, when?
Matt was the only. Yeah.
Oh yeah, at the meetups, not at the activism.
Yeah, at the meetups.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. We didn't. Yeah, the few meetups.
Yeah, our friend Matt was there, but other than that, there were only people that I haven't met before.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean they're not vegan for the animals, but they weren't activists.
Yeah, so we're talking about different things, and then I just tried mentioning the activism. They had no interest in talking about it whatsoever.
But not everybody have interest in being activists.
No, that's true.
We got to respect that.
Yeah, but I didn't want to hear about it. Almost. They didn't say so, but like I kind of got the gist of it.
But maybe they just want to talk about other things right then. And
yeah, maybe. No, it was. Yeah, maybe that is the case, but it's sort of like telling that it were different people at the meetups than it was at the activism rallies.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know how it is here in Japan. I cannot tell.
No.
There are definitely more vegan festivals here.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, because in Norway, we are starting to get quite a few, because we have the 2 in Oslo and we have like the one in Bergen.
Yeah, and don't.
So we are in 2-3 festivals a year.
Yeah, something like that. We also had the gala a year in Drammen.
No, in Fredrikstad.
Fredrikstad. Oh, yeah, it's Fredrikstad. It was in Drammen,
so now we're 4, and we also a couple of years like we had it in our a couple of years in a row before the pandemic. We also had like vegan weekend.
Yeah.
Where a lot of activism and just like people meeting each other.
Yeah, we will try to go to any meetups in Tokyo if we manage.
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe we'll do that.
Yeah. But we don't know if there's any vegan societies around here.
No,
except from the restaurants.
I know that there are vegans here. I've seen some on Happy Cow that I haven't paid, so I can't really reply. And there was one on this vegan Japan page that said she was from Wakayama, but she never replied to me after that. So there are vegans here, but I don't know if there's like any activism whatsoever.
No, or meetups.
No, there might be in Osaka, but I haven't checked.
Maybe we should check that.
Yeah, we should check that.
We should check.
Definitely should check. That is a
we've been there for 4 months and haven't made any new friends. Like, what are we doing? We're Norwegians. We don't talk to people.
We don't talk.
We don't small talk.
We don't small. Japanese is like that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Norwegian and Japanese culture is actually surprisingly alike.
Yeah, similar in many ways.
Similar, yes.
And to all you Americans, it's not that both Norwegians and Japanese people take their shoes off. Everybody does that except you.
Yeah, that's the thing. We always like get this. Asians take off their shoes when they go inside. The whole world does.
Yeah. Is there more points that I haven't covered now?
The restaurants.
Haven't they?
Have we?
Yeah. Well, yeah, because we mentioned that in Japan you can find vegan restaurants everywhere. At random places.
Yeah, okay, we covered.
Yeah, we covered that.
Well, is there any more points we want to make?
I don't know.
Should I say something like ending point?
If you have an ending statement, go ahead.
Yeah. So I guess we can say like the biggest difference between Japan and Norway when it comes to veganism is how they push the veganism.
Yeah.
Because in Norway we actually got the corporations pushing veganism because there's a vegan market, so they want to earn money, right? So we got this bigger corporations like Tine and Synnøve now pushing like their daughter brands, Gryr and Go Vegan or Go Vegan.
Yeah, also the Hoff with their...
Yeah, but Hoff isn't pushing with a daughter company. They just make vegan products, and they've always done that. So because they're selling like chips and potatoes.
Yeah.
So that's that, and you know with Gryr and with Synnøve, you always know they are vegan.
Yeah.
And Helsons Kjøk or the
Chef's Gourmet.
The Chef's Gourmet are mostly vegan. We got a lot of smaller vegan brands that you also know is vegan, and we got this section in the store. So veganism is very like, if you go to a grocery store, you know you will find vegan food wherever you are. Some more, some less, but you will always find vegan.
We've only found one hummus brand here, for example.
Yeah.
In Norway, it's starting to get a lot better.
Yeah. But when it comes to vegan restaurants, vegetarian restaurants, there's a lot of towns without any of those.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And in Japan, it's the opposite.
Yeah.
Because you're not given to find vegan options in the grocery stores or vegan products, but most likely there's a vegan or a vegetarian restaurants around. So in Japan, it's the restaurants that are pushing veganism. It's the individuals, like the small private restaurants.
Yeah, so in Norway it's usually Oslo that has the absolute majority of the vegan restaurants. Bergen got one.
Yeah, and other places got none.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I think that's the biggest difference.
Yeah.
In Japan, it's the individuals that are pushing veganism, but in Norway, it is the corporations that are pushing veganism.
Yeah.
Which I know many are gonna be angry for saying that, but it's definitely easier to go to a grocery store in Norway, and that is because of veganism growing. So not gonna give all the glory to the corporations, but the corporations actually listen to the people in Norway compared to what I feel in Japan, because I don't think the grocery stores in Japan really feel it necessary to have vegan options.
Yeah, and then we wrap it up. The next segment here is the trip we have to Kyoto. We go by bicycle, but it's going to be very different. And things did absolutely not go to plan. I'm not going to spoil it, but it certainly will be very different to what you would expect and what we actually expected. But we're done editing, so that will come up really shortly. Yeah.
You always talk about editing.
Yeah. 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 How was the trip?